Alright guys, we're back at the Gator. I took off these side flaps so I can tilt the bed all the way back. So we're gonna make it more. We'll figure out something for that. But the problem is primary and secondary clutch. You saw that spring, it's looking bad. And then what I figured out, I was like, oh, you know, maybe there's a way you can like tension the belt and stuff. Because what's happening is, in the last video y'all saw, I got to go test ride it, but then, you know, we messed around with it more, and then when you go to stick it in gear, it kind of grinds a little. This secondary clutch should not be spinning at idle. The spring thing, that's just almost like a torque converter, which I'm gonna fix that, but this should not be spinning at idle, and it is. That's what's causing the grinding whenever I go to select it in gear. So I think I'm gonna have to take off this primary clutch. I'm gonna see if I can clean it out, maybe change the rollers, or, you know, see if something's up. And then the secondary clutch, I'm gonna see if I can maybe take that apart. I'm an idiot! I forgot to put the plug back on. Dummy. Right there. This should not be spinning. The secondary. This cap right there. Then this cap is on the inside of the clutch. 15 millimeter bolt. And then you just stick your drill in through there. Take that out. We have gotten the clutch off. I'm sorry I wasn't able to film the whole thing, but recap. When I just set this thing up here, tons of dust just whoosh. Here's the normal bolt. I've rounded the head a little bit, so I might get a new one. These threads go on that shiny piece that was sticking out that I just showed y'all. Cut that off, stick that down in there, so it's touching that other threaded piece on the end, but you don't want it actually messing with the threads, if that makes sense. You want this just sitting up against it. Then you take this and put it in here, which the threads are bigger, and then you impact that down against this, and then it kind of pops the clutch off. Me and Pop were messing with the kill switch, because as y'all know, early on, it wasn't working and it wasn't shutting off the Gator. So we had to pull the spark plug boot off. But what we did is there's a little prong connection down there. We pulled that off. It was super dirty inside, so sprayed some electrical cleaner in there, some compressed air. Tried that, it didn't work. We tried putting on a new switch, but this didn't work either. So we were like, well, let's start from the beginning. So I went ahead, and while it was running, I was like, this looks important. Popped that off and it killed the engine. So then I knew right then and there that this right here was the black wire for the kill switch. And then, so what I found is all these three things, there was where this blue connector is, I put that in. That was like taped around, and then this whole thing was taped around, and it was almost like somebody taped it to hold those two together, but they were still really loose, so I replaced it with my own connector there, and I'm gonna cover that up, heat shrink it or something. And then this other black wire, I don't know what that does, but that was connected to this same black wire, so I just put that back in there. But now the kill switch actually works, which is great, so you know we ain't going like that every time. We just got a shipment from John Deere, and we decided to go where you got brand new primary clutch and secondary clutch. We just decided, you know, like, might as well. We didn't really want to have to mess with the old one, so here's the brand new primary clutch. The only thing I'm wondering is if the weights are different in here, so we'll put on the secondary clutch and the exhaust on first. We'll check the weights in here and then see if they're the same. If they're not, we'll probably have to put those weights in, or we might have to experiment, and then we'll put this on. But we'll go ahead and just start putting everything back on. Alright, here's the secondary clutch. We figured out that this is the wrong size somehow. I thought they were all pretty much, you know, the same shaft or spline size, but this one's definitely not, because this one, it just, you know, it can slide on and off. This one you can go a little bit, and then we were kind of hitting it with this little mallet here, but I didn't want to force it, so I'm like, well, we gotta send that back, see if we can find the exact right one. Put the actual clutch on, and it has like a little dent in it, but we took a picture just in case if it doesn't work. The weights are bigger than this, but if that doesn't work, we'll just take it off, put these weights in, and then we should be fine. So I'm just gonna tighten up the bolt. We're gonna slap the belt on, and then see if it actually works. Yeah. So that clutch is mounted. We stuck that bolt through there, tightened that up, and then the old secondary is on there. Put that bolt on, tightened it up. So we should be good to go. Clutch is working. The idle's even a little bit high, I think. But you see, yeah, it's not spinning. Yeah. The secondary. That's good. What's up? That's good? Yeah. Because you can check out these rollers. See that flat spot? Some of these rollers, they got flat spots on them. Like that. They all look like that. So I'm thinking throw the exhaust on and we can test drive it. Let me shut it off. You're going to? Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Well, we know it works, so that's good. Yeah. So not bad.
It sounded good.
Yeah, I don't think the exhaust is on all the way, but oh shoot, that's on. Alright guys, so we took off the old secondary. What ended up happening is the brand new secondary clutch we ordered, I think it's for the newer Gators, and the shaft, I think it's a little bit bigger, because on this one we could hammer it on a little bit, the brand new secondary, but I didn't want to force it on this one, and that one they both just slide right on, you know, with very little force. So we ended up getting a used one off of eBay, but the spring and the buttons and everything, those check out, so that looks good. And then we've been doing a little bit of restoration and painting it, but we'll show y'all that once we get done with the engine and get this running. We'll throw the bed back on, put the seats on, the plastics and all that. But let's go ahead and fire her up. Yeah, that's actually alright if this spins a little bit. But if it's spinning like a lot, then it'll grind.
Yeah, it didn't grind at all.
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and back on. That is so much more, it's so much better. The old one, we had to like give it gas just to go back. I'll go around. Oh yeah, working great. Yeah, so much better takeoff, acceleration than before. So yeah guys, it's looking good.